Hey everybody, and welcome to the 90-Minute Art Challenge. I'm your host, Bobby Chu, and I also have on here my co-host, Masei Seki. And we have a very, very special guest today, the incredible, the amazing Andrea Blasich. If you do not know who Andrea is, you are living in a cave, because this man is one of the best sculptors in our business alive today, so... All right. Well, from things like Oscar-winning Brave, Oscar-winning Spider-Verse, and many, many others, Andrea has been in the industry for many decades. Sorry. I was just kidding. You can never tell by his boyish charm, but Andrea definitely has influenced many of the people and the films that we all love. So without further ado, my good buddy Andrea Blasich. Hey Andrea. And sorry, actually with some further ado, okay? I just want to go to what is the 90-Minute Art Challenge here. So 90-Minute Art Challenge, you can find it on Tumblr. If you search up 90-Minute Art Challenge, you'll find our subject for today, and our subject is actually one of the very cool sculptures that Andrea has done, a play off of Darth Vader here. When you're done your 90-Minute Art Challenge, you could upload it to Instagram, hashtag it 90-Minute Art Challenge. You can see all the others, all the thousands of others, and every stream we highlight a few. So here are some from previous art challenges. Heavyweight Harry is doing some incredible stuff from Vienna. And then we also have Toad over here doing some crazy stuff. Beautiful. Wow. That one, very, very nice. This one, also very, very nice. This is our last study, Andrea. And then here, this one we did with Wouter Tulp. Love to see Ari's interpretation there. Man, I put him in there twice. Look at that. And then this one, very adorable, totally different style. And look, Snoot is ahead of the game. We love seeing that. A little bunny from the previous challenges. This one, oh cool, got a warrior happening there. Boom. And we also want to give a big plug to Andrea's class here, because he is joining us today. I definitely want to talk about his amazing class on Schoolism. Andrea has been teaching and sculpting for all the biggest studios, and so many of these incredible artists that know how to sculpt now have taken his course. Even artistic heroes of mine, Carter Goodrich and Peter DeSev, and who knows how many others, have also taken sculpting lessons from Andrea. So his methods are proven, and through Schoolism's online class, you will learn all of his many awesome techniques, and he'll guide you through, drawing on top of your sculptures to help guide you into creating something absolutely awesome. This one sculpture is the sculpture that you would be sculpting. So I can't wait to get my clay and actually, do a sculpture of this as well. Some past students and such. All right, so that's pretty cool, right? That's pretty cool. And so what Masei and I are doing today is not going to be sculpting, but we're going to be painting. And I hope everybody can join us for this challenge as well and come paint with us. 90 minutes, an hour and a half, and then we're all done. All right, and I'll count the time and let everybody know as we start winding down. All right, and the other thing I want to mention here is that you have a ton of people in Discord all drawing this with us, with you, so feel free to join the Discord. LBX Discord, so bit.ly/LBX Discord. and then you can draw with everybody else, and make some friends, create your network, that kind of thing. It's really fun, and everybody is extremely nice, and I love hanging out on there as well. Um, Also, last little housekeeping thing here is questions. If you want to ask the master today any questions, I'm gonna embarrass you all 90 minutes. No, but seriously, this is such an amazing opportunity to ask Andrea some questions. So please feel free by going to slido.com, hashtag ChewStream, and then you could put in your questions there. You don't need to sign up for an account or anything. All right. And now, without further ado, sorry, Andrea. Sorry for the big, long intro, but I'm so glad to have you here. What are you talking about? You never get intimidated. I've never seen you get intimidated. You have a good poker face, maybe. Yeah.
Andrea
I'm
on
sorry.
YouTube.
Okay. I apologize. All right, it's on.
Okay,
Now
I think
I
so.
think it should be good now.
Yeah.
it'll be good.
Looks good.
Okay, I can hear you. So
I
we'll
have
say
so
that
many
you know,
programs going.
I know
Yeah.
many programs. You see, now basically, it's kind of challenging on my side too to try to follow all the different styles, different way how each student is representing their own sculpture. But it's kind of cool to see how they come out, the progress from the first week to the last week. The struggling, but then at the end, each one get to the finish line in their own way, and they found their own way how to express what they have inside. And it's really cool. It's funny. It's funny to see. It's funny to follow this journey. And this is why I did it. This is why I kind of do it. I was kind of trouble.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Andrea, now that we've launched your class, you've already done a class, you sold out the other class, you're doing the other class, and now the class is also available for subscription. So when people subscribe to Schoolism, they can also get your class.
Yeah.
Now that it's going successfully, I want to ask you, did you have any doubts of doing a traditional clay sculpting class online?
Mm.
To be honest, was always a kind of challenge because I did it once. I did it live. It was really difficult. Difficult to, especially to try to express what the student was supposed to do. Try to tell them, and then make sure that they were kind of getting the idea. But then with this kind of formula, it's pretty. I think it's working. It's pretty successful because they follow exactly what I'm doing, and that they try to interpret what I'm doing. They try to put their own way to achieve the different steps, and the results they're really good. Really, some people they're really good. It kind of scare me too. Fortunately, not a lot of work around, so it's good. So I'm still saying. No, but some of them they're really talented. It goes from people that never tried to people that work in the industry. There are art director, production designer, people that they really work in the industry. They want to learn how to approach. And and sometimes I get really nice comments regarding the help that they have to visualize more the drawing in a three-dimensional form. It's getting easier for them to understand how to approach the character from a design point of view. That is another kind of goal that I was trying to accomplish with this class. And it's nice to see that they get it. You know, it's really it's kind of cool. Really cool.
And it's definitely like I gotta say, when you make your own sculpture out of your own hands with no electricity except for turning on the lights, there's something magical about that, you know, that ZBrush just doesn't kind of have, right?
No, I agree. And I'm doing kind of both. I'm kind of leaning more, still doing kind of traditional. Lately, in the last 2-3 years, I can see that the studio, they really start to getting back to do more maquettes. So this year was crazy, and I was working on 3-4 projects. You know, the last year was pretty much the same, different studios, different takes, different art director, designer. You know, it's kind of nice to see that they really want to get back to something physically. You know, I was working for a studio. They were doing the main character. They had problem with I can't tell the names, you know, but you know, they had problem with the main character hair. So they called me after 6 months to work on a traditional sculpt to develop the hair, you know, in a way that it looks more like a sculptural point of view, and then translate in a 3D. And at the beginning I was a little bit surprised because I didn't expect they wanted to do something, you know, kind of traditionally. But at the end, I got the point. I could see why they wanted, you know, and it was really good for me too, because, you know, I can still see this interest in you know, using the traditional sculpt.
And why is that?
Yeah.
Like, why has this new trend kind of happened, do you think?
More going back to the traditional.
Yeah.
But they can see that basically with the 3D, with the CG, yeah, you can block something really quick, but you don't have the same interaction, especially with the directors. I work with the directors that are more like traditional directors, so they are really leaning more to a traditional form. A sculpture is more, it's like a traditional sculpture for translating something 2D in 3D, more, and it's physical, so they can put something in, you know, with the light, they can see the shapes, they can see the form, better than doing a render in CG. And then lately I can implement even a 3D scanning. So I'm kind of take my sculpt, 3D scan the sculpt, bring it to the computer, rework a little bit, and then pass it to the modeler. And they can see that this process is working. You know, it's and it's going faster than doing directly in a CG, because when the director approve it, it's let's say 80% already down the pipeline. But the studios start to realize that, especially DreamWorks, Netflix. Sony too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like traditional sculpting also has like a charm because there's like it's like not completely smooth. Like when you look at your sculpture, you can see like where you pressed down and where you like, you know, did all your marks. So I think there's also that charm that I'm sure people like love to see, like the whole like physical aspect of sculpting.
Yeah, but it's more like an interpretation, more like you know, a rough painting, and then you feel the rest with your imagination, with your knowledge, with your thing. It's the same thing that I'm trying to tell my students. You know, keep it loose until a certain point. Then, if you want to go further, you can smooth it. You know, but find the essence, find the life, find the character, find the you know, the right proportion, the right mood, the right feeling, especially for directors, especially for, you know, working in animation, entertainment. That is what they try to achieve. And with the traditional sculpture, it's easier.
So, yeah, I have some questions, and you don't have to answer them if you don't want to. I don't know if they're okay to ask. I want to ask because you've sculpted working with Carter Goodrich, Shiun Kim, Niku Marley. Which artist style is the hardest to sculpt and translate, and which one's the easiest?
Maybe the hardest was Peter, you know.
Peter DeSev. Oh.
No, I'm joking. Because Peter does, he does a drawing with 6-7 lines, so you have to choose the one. No, but it's funny because everyone has. I learn a lot from each one of them, and I can see in my sculpture some part of Nico, some part of Carter, some part of Peter, from Heidi, Shun, different Carlos Gangel, different design, and then you absorb, you learn, and then you try to put everything together in your own kind of style. I think I have a kind of style that I try to push it. I try to develop too, and but for example, each one of them is because obviously I admire them a lot. So for me, they were my, let's say, my teacher, my idols, and I was really, obviously there is a big respect between me and them, and sometimes was difficult to work because not because of them, but because of the situation, because of maybe the pressure of the studio, maybe the pressure of accomplish something really quick in a short time, while all the team was really open mind to develop in that direction. So you try to push maybe one direction the director or the director they don't want, or maybe they don't see. So sometimes it can be tricky. Sometimes you do different takes, like 3-4 takes for the same character. The pose, you tweak the pose. So it's a lot of going on. So it can be a lot of frustration, but between both sides, between my side and then the design side, and then the director side. So it's all like a collaborative work. So you have to try to make sure that everybody is in the same ballpark, and everybody obviously. No, then I think that when you reach a level of respect, it's really nice. It's really nice for me. It's really nice for all the environment. It creates a really positive environment. That is really, I think, is the key. The key to do something unique, some projects that are unique. Lately I work on a project for Dreams. There was this kind of respect. This kind of respect between the production designer. Sometimes when I started, there's not even a production designer, so just the director, the producer, and me, and then started the character designer. So there are projects that I start before even the character designer. I did one on Netflix last year. It was in this kind of ballpark, and then the character design came, and then we start to change obviously path. So you have to, it's a creative process.
What do you prefer? I would assume you prefer when it's just you and the director right in the beginning, nobody else is there.
No, I like when they let you do it. They let you do your take. They let you do it your first instinct when you see a drawing. You put on clay, and that usually most of the time, at the 99%, is the one that is the strongest, because you really feel it. And I like when you gain this kind of respect. They say, okay, Andrea, this is where we are aiming, but we are open to your take. And that is really nice, because you are almost like 100% free to do, or maybe you are thinking that you are 100% free to do whatever you want to do, but then they're gonna start to guide you. But most of the time, that is it's a nice process, nice steps. What are really looking forward, when you work especially for a new studio. Netflix was pretty open, especially the project I worked last year. Was really open to do something like this.
Did you ever get to keep any of the sculptures that you've done for work?
Yeah. I've usually I do the maquette, and then I do the cast. So the cast is like a mold cast, a silicone mold, and then a resin cast, like the one that you have over there that you're copying. It's a resin cast of original sculpt. So when you start to do duplicate, you need to do a mold. And then most of the time I do this work myself. So I do all the pipeline, from the creation of the sculpt to the mold to the realization of the cast. So I can pass the cast to the studio, and the model that can use it as a reference with the 3D scanner. So I do all the process, and then I have here obviously the original, and then sometimes when they need more copies, I can send them more copies. But usually, yeah, I have lately I start to because we were talking before. I start to kind of clean up a little bit the studio. So the old project, I'm gonna keep a master cast, and then I'm gonna destroy the molds because some of those molds are really heavy and big. So I don't have a huge space. So I have to simplify. I have to try to reduce the amount of elements in the studio. Right now, I can't even walk around because it's too pretty chaotic. But yeah.
Hey, also, as we're painting this, and I could see Massey is doing something completely different than me. I'm just doing a straight copy here. But as we're painting this, there's other people painting this as well. So I'd love to just drop into Discord here, the Lightbox Expo Discord channel that everybody can get to if you go to bit.ly/ oh, I hear a little bit of sound. Where's the sound coming from?
Is it me?
No. Andrea, is your YouTube totally muted?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that was odd. Anyways, you can see a whole bunch of versions of your stuff, of your sculpture there. And there's many others. So let's take a quick look.
That's nice.
Yeah, every time I drop into one of these streams, then I hear it. So maybe that's it. Oh, that person is not doing something totally different, which is totally fine. Oh, shoot, look at that.
They're 3D modeling. Nice.
3D modeling your traditional clay sculpture. That's cool.
Yeah. I don't see it. Where?
Oh, you didn't see it? It's right here. Hold on. Look at this.
Yeah, if you look at...
Because mine's kind of spinning. I think
you see it now?
Cool. Oh,
yeah. Awesome job.
Yeah, there's two people sculpting.
That's cool.
Yeah, right? I thought that
you want to show off you can do better with the 3G. Oh, really nice stuff. Really nice stuff.
You know, and also it is really helpful when I was painting the sculpture, just in terms of thinking about design and everything, it's like you do absorb things, right? You start to absorb things, like you were saying about you'd notice certain things about working with Carter Goodrich or working with Carlos Grangle, right? Or whoever, all the different styles, it's like you pick up on things, and I was totally doing that as well. I remember Daniel Arriaga, when he was working on Coco and working on all sorts of other films at Pixar, he would do his own sculpts just to help figure out the character. So those skills are far more valuable than only doing sculptures for the sake of sculptures. It could help out paintings and all sorts of things.
I remember even Nico, he was working a long time ago on a project, and he's a really good sculptor. Really good. He's really good. He's doing the sculpt like he's drawing. So he told me that once he was doing a character for a movie, and then he was kind of stuck, so he didn't know where to go. And I don't remember really what the stuff, but basically he did a little sculpt like this, like a little head sculpt, and he showed it to the director, and they approved the character based on the sculpt. And then from the sculpt, they did all the turnaround, did all the the spray. It's kind of funny.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Why do you need to draw anything after you've done the sculpture?
I know. No, but even I know designers that they use like a really rough. I don't say the names, but they use a really crude CG model to do the expression, and so they have the the ZBrush, they do really blocking, and then they use that one as a different view for an up shot, down shot of the character, so it's easy for them to control the shape. And it's almost like doing a little sculpt in clay, but you do in CG. That you can lit it. It's easier these days, or even in VR. People can hear. No, yeah, I get it.
Masay, we've been totally hogging Andrea all for ourselves as people are asking questions.
I get
So
it.
I was
Actually,
wondering, yeah,
actually,
maybe,
before we pass it to the audience, I wanted to ask, like, that's kind of part of the conversation we're talking about. So you know how, like, sorry about the Bobby.
no.
You know how, like, Bobby and I, we do a lot of like different sketches or like different passes of designs for sculpting. Do you also have to like do different like versions of sculpts for the client? I'm kind of curious, like, if there's like different.
Depend. You know, sometime the first take is good. Sometimes, you know, for example, I did a commission like a couple of years ago, and then I was working with Alejandro Jodorowsky. You know, one of the directors did Dune. You know, yeah. It's an old director. So basically, he wanted to have a sculpt of the based on El Topo. He did a movie in the 70s. So that one I did 3 takes before we arrived to the iconic pose that he could himself in the character. So I did it three takes on that one. But sometimes, you know, usually I try to do a really quick sketch, and then when I can see the character, I like the proportions, so I send it to the director or to the art director, even if it's really rough, just to show them the shapes. It's almost like when you paint, you do like a quick sketch, like Bob is doing, or you are doing a really quick sketch, and then I show this one just to have the feeling, just to get feedback from them if I'm going in the right direction. And then if they like it, you know, I can keep going with that. Or if they don't like it, I put on the side. I do another take. I preserve. I learn it to preserve because a long time ago I was working on the same sculpt, so I was destroying what I did before, and then after three, 4 takes, they were coming back. Yeah, but no, we like the first one. He said, yeah, but the first one is gone. You know, so I have to try to going back and do the first take. So I know I learn it. Better to preserve, always preserve. Maybe even sometimes, you know, it happened that maybe the head, they want to shrink the head, or they want to shrink some part of the sculpt. So I kind of cut the part, preserve it, redo another take. It's almost like in Photoshop, have a different layer that you switch the layers on ZBrush. You have a different model. So that is the way how you can try to preserve what you did and come back.
I see. That's very interesting.
But you have to become smarter to when you work traditionally. So, you know, you have to know that people, they can change minds. Some directors, they change minds until the end. You know, other they're really focused and they know exactly what they want.
Well, some directors, they just keep going until the producer tells them, okay, you need to make a decision.
It happens a lot of times.
Now, if you, the people, have hard times making decisions on which class to take, talk about a segue here. We have the winter sale, the 2020 winter sale. You save $100 off an annual subscription. It is usually $299.40, $300. Right now, if you get the winter sale, you can get access to every single class. That's the number one thing people ask us. Can I get access to every class with the subscription? The answer is yes. And if you get it now, you save over $100 with the winter sale. The other thing that people ask is, what if I'm already subscribed to the monthly and I pay monthly? Can I cancel and get on this winter sale? Yes, just email in at info@schoolism.com. If you already have an annual subscription and you want to kind of re-up and like add another year to it, you can also email in at info@schoolism.com and get on the winter sale. When you do, you get access to literally like 40 different full-on art courses with many of the best out there. All right.
Hey, Bobby, don't do too much discount, you know. No, use the discount.
Yeah, we gotta buy Christmas gifts, right, Andrea?
I know.
All right, we'll put a little tip jar by your class right there.
Yeah, you should. No, but it's fun, you know, it's fun. I'm having fun, so it's good.
That's the most important thing, right? Hey, Masay, do we have any questions in Discord that maybe we could get to, or I could go to Slido? Or sorry, we're doing Slido, right?
Yeah, we're going to focus on Slido. So if anyone has any question, they can go to slido.com, #ChewStream, and ask questions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Neva Duncan at the bottom there, that person has a question that is talking about sculptures.
Yeah, so Neva asks, I'm sculpting my creatures I did in the creature anatomy course with Terryl Whitlatch in plasticine. Could I apply Andrea's techniques to these creatures?
It's for me.
Yeah. So she's sculpting a creature right now. If she takes your class, would it help her to sculpt that creature?
But so what I'm doing is more like in my class I'm using a stylized character, but the thinking, the process, all the thoughts that are behind to achieve something stylized, you can use it for realistic. Obviously this is my approach. How I will do it, and other sculpture there are different takes. So it's really simpler. It's more organic. It's more. I follow more obviously all the things that I absorb during this year, and I try to condense in this kind of 8 classes, and make sure that everybody can get a good base to start from there, and then develop their own skills. Because the goal is like to, I'm passing this kind of ball, but then you have to find your own way. But this can help you to find your own way. Like you do a course of drawing or course, so you can take what you learn there and then apply with the sculpt and with the anatomy, because everything is interlocked to each other. So everything is part of the same basket.
I would figure, Andrea, that people should, ideally, they should do the sculpture that you're doing in your class first to absorb a lot of the techniques so that they could apply to other things, right?
Yeah, usually even people that they are doing my class, they send me messages saying, no, it's really helpful because I can use it for something else. And this was almost the goal. The goal. I was trying to aim on that one, and I knew that I aim in the right direction because people, use that one to apply to other stuff. More realistic. Because the notion is the principle is pretty much the same. If you do realistic or stylized, is where to look, how to apply, how to find those planes, those lines, those relationship with forms. It's shapes. Naturalistic is all about relationship. Measurement, shapes. When you start to abstract, it's more like you have to simplify what you have from realism and make sure that it looks like something that you can connect, but it's stylized. And sometimes it's even more complex than doing a realistic sculpture. Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense. Maybe I lost everybody in in my answer, but
No, I think it makes sense. And Masay, I don't even know why I asked you to read the questions. I kind of had in my head, oh, you're doing the Discord thing or something like that, and I could totally read these questions myself.
Yeah, no, whichever.
This next one here, I think it really pertains to Andrea, because I believe you learned sculpting just by kind of looking at sculptures, trying. The question.
Yeah, I did an art school in Italy. I did the traditional art school, so with the models, we had teachers that were kind of showing out the bas relief, and then to the alt relief, and then the full form, with the model. So
you learned sculpting in school?
Yeah. Don't think that we had Michelangelo, Bernini. They were teaching you. They were teaching you. So we had good teacher, but obviously the first steps I got it from there. But then as a traditional sculptor, and then I did Academy of Art, and then through the Academy of Art I did something else. But then there was always this kind of love, and then obviously living in Italy, you have a lot of this, obviously this museum, this art all around you. You absorb working from other designer or student or teacher. You learn from everybody. Is
I
so,
thought
and
I
then
thought you learned by yourself because I seem to remember you were in layouts. You were doing
yeah,
layouts before
yeah,
sculpting.
I, I was doing layout when I moved to London. Yeah, but because I did theater before, I did traditional art and then theater, and then stage design, and then stage design brought me to layout. And then when I came over here, I saw there was like a demand for maquettes. I'm talking like more than 20, almost like 25 years ago. So there were demand for maquettes. So I kind of develop a portfolio. I kind of develop a work to present it to the studio to allow me to do some maquettes. It took a while, but then at the end I was able to do it. And then I discovered the way how they wanted to do the sculpt. Because I thought that the process was almost like a traditional process. By the time, was more like a stylized process. So I had to adapt my traditional skill to a stylization of forms,
Mm.
and then I developed more on my own.
Well, when you're developing on your own, like without a teacher, how do you push yourself to that next level? This is a question from the Slido there. With
The
no,
next level is always to aim your master, people that you respect, or they could be living artists or dead people.
yeah,
But and try to learn from them, and try to, I don't say emulate them, but learn, copy, study, understand why they did this kind of, for example, drapery, why they did this pose, why they did this character in this way, because they wanted to express a certain emotion. So try to get into their emotion and bring your emotion to your piece, and then don't do a copy, but be yourself. That's where are you. This is what I'm trying to aim on my work too.
mm. And is this your design, the samurai star, Darth
Yeah, yeah,
Vader?
yeah, yeah. This was my, yeah, it was my design. Yeah, sometimes I like to do a design in this way, and this is an old one. I did like almost 5 years ago, I think.
Oh, so how many years, how much time has to go by before you consider a piece old?
But old is like the one that you did last week. It's really
Really?
yeah.
You? Yeah,
No, because you want
1 week.
to.
Oh my
Eh?
God. 1 week and
No.
it's already, oh, that's the old stuff. I'm on to these new things.
Right. Sometimes I have pieces there that I did like 5, 6 years ago on the shelves, and I know already they're gonna stay like this because what I was looking, that kind of piece is already gone. Is done. Is already gone. Sometimes you try to go back and rework it, and you kind of screw it up, so you can destroy everything. So would it be better? Would it be better to left it like this, or maybe destroy?
Well, it's tough, just like painting or drawing. You go back to it, you put that more
Yeah,
paint on there,
yeah.
especially if it's like watercolor or something. There's no going back a lot of times.
No, it's really, yeah. But then yeah, because maybe the piece already told the story that it was supposed to tell. And that's it. You move on. You want to discover other stuff.
Have you ever dropped a piece like that you really loved?
Yeah, yeah. Not that really. I drop even some work related pieces, and then I have to resculpt it. But yeah,
Oh
no,
my.
it happened. Most of the time, it's coming out better, because you already resolve some problem, some problematic in the process, and then get destroyed. Maybe even the shifting is better than the you find before. Maybe the nose was crooked more in one direction than the old one. No, it happens. Sometimes it's no, not always, but sometimes it happens that you drop stuff, and then or maybe you drop it because you want to drop it.
Subconsciously.
Yeah, no, it's funny.
Why don't we go to another question here? So this person is saying everyone, let me see here. Everyone is saying you don't need to go to university to become a professional artist. But how do you find the right feedback to improve? What if it's too late? Well,
Mm.
feedback, the Lightbox Expo Discord channel is literally for that. Forget about this ever never-ending pursuit to get likes and all this stuff. Like, what about the feedback? Where do you go for that? And really, that is what the Discord community is all about. It's all about positive reinforcement, feedback, supporting each other as we all try to get better in art. But everyone is saying you don't need to go to university to become a professional artist. How do you feel about that, Andrea? You went to school.
Yeah, but first of all, you have to find a good school. You have to find the good teachers. It's not the school, the university, is the teachers, the people that that first of all they have experience, so you can see that these people, they really know what they're talking about. Because sometimes you go to schools and the teacher, they're not really good, but maybe you pay a lot of money and then you get disappointed. Yeah, I know people that went to school, they spend a lot of money, and then and unfortunately I saw because I taught another class, I don't say where, but I saw people that were the last year, they were to be honest, they weren't really good, but they were the last year, and then I feel their pain, and I feel their obviously frustration, because you go to almost the finish line, and nobody had the honesty to tell you, to guide you in the right direction. That is really frustrating. It's not cool, for the student, for the parents of the student, because they make an investment, and unfortunately, you don't find a lot of the really good school. I think in Europe there are, for animation, there are really good school. In France, in England too, because there is the demand, and in the United States too. But some of those you pay a lot of money, so it's on the balance. Sometimes you can learn today with when I started, there was no internet. There were few books, there were few movies around, so you were learning from the movies. You were learning from the when you find this book about these artists that tell you how to paint, so you try to discover in this way. These days we have the beauty of the internet in a good way, that you can research, you can find, and maybe these days you don't need to go to school, because you can find an online class from somebody who worked for 30 studios, he show you the process, and then you learn from him. Then you another guy that
worked on Spider-Verse, worked on Brave, worked on all these kind of somebody like that. Where can we find somebody like that? If anybody knows, let us know in the chat, because we're trying to find an amazing sculptor.
No, but it's so today my point is that it's easier to learn from the compressor style from different artists without going to school. But obviously the nice thing of going to school, that you have the interaction of the between artists. That is I think is one of the important things that we have to try to recreate when you learn. To have but going back to the feedbacks, you need to have a person that you respect them, a person that are honest with you, because if you're not there, they have to tell you you're not there. Because you can think that you want to be an artist, but if you don't have it or you don't feel it, you can work all your life, but you will never get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to be harsh, not to be. You have to be honest. You have to be.
One of the really important points that I want to stress that you brought up was, you pay a lot of money. This is an investment. Not all investments are good investments. Some stocks just go down. Some stocks go up. You end up making some money with your career and whatever, because you went and invested in that school. Some schools are 6 figures to finish that program. Right? Some schools is over $200,000 to finish that program. If you took off, this is the crazy part that I was just thinking about as you're talking. I was like, if you took off 3 of the zeros of that $200,000, you would still be able to buy a Schoolism subscription and have enough for a little crappy coffee. If you took off 3 zeros and still
maybe
have a year.
good coffee, not the coffee.
Depending where you get it.
Yeah, $2 coffee. I don't know how good it could get, but maybe it could be pretty good.
But Europe, with €1, you have a really good coffee, a really good cappuccino. So you're really saving on that.
Oh yes, that's true. So if you're living in Italy or something,
yeah, 130 you get a cappuccino. So.
Boom,
Oh.
there you go.
Nice.
Cappuccino and a year of
And a
education.
croissant, yeah. No, but today we have a lot of opportunity, and you guys really set it up really well, this schooling stuff. So, and you see the professionals that they are working, that they are teaching, they're really professional. They're people that are working in the industry. That is the key. That is one of the key. Not people that they pretend to be in. A long time ago you could pretend and nobody knew that you weren't working in the industry. No, these days, you can check in Google and you see, but this guy is not, he never worked anywhere.
Oh yeah.
And then
I've seen all sorts. I've seen people teach, and they say that they work at Disney, and maybe they worked there for like 3 months, and that was like 6 years ago, and they still say that, right?
No, but even when you work in a studio, it's a studio. For example, in a project, like I work in a lot of projects, but the project is done with 400 artists, maybe even more. So you are one of the of the big chain, and then it depends where you are working on the chain, on the chain of command.
Yes.
The more you go down, the more you become like you work in a factory. It's a factory. It's not. We call art, but it's a commercial art. So we're creating commercial art. So that is the other thing that we have to learn. When you do your own art, you make your own decision, your own input. I think maybe the discussion could go even longer, but you have to try to balance the two.
Well, that's totally true too. It's like they worked on, okay, we're looking for good teachers that worked on really good stuff, but also what did they do in that project?
Yeah.
Right? Did they just deliver photocopies, or did they actually draw stuff?
No, without taking down the guy who delivered the photocopy,
Yeah,
but, because the guy too, in the process. No. I get your point.
Totally.
You get my point.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with photocopies. Everybody needs photocopies. So, there is another question here from another anonymous. So anonymous says, do you sculpt in VR with tilt brush or gravity sketch? What do you think of it if you do? And why don't we throw in there like any computer, sculpting programs at all? Doesn't always have to be VR.
I tried the tilt brush in 2015, I think 16. So Google, they called me to go there one day and try this tilt brush this VR. To be honest, I was like, but why they call me? There's not, And then when I was there, I started to. First of all, it was really difficult to kind of change the mindset, because I was tilt brush is almost like a brush. It's a brush. So I was starting to build a three-dimensional form with one stroke. So the beginning I was putting all this kind of stroke to create a layer. Yeah. And then I discovered that. And then I started to use more the traditional approach of blocking. So with the brush, I was doing shapes, and it was really cruel because the time was really compressed. It was like 10 minutes to do one take. And I think if you Google online, there are some of these experiments that I did, and it was kind of cool. At the same, at the end of the day, you start to get used. So you know how to simplify, it become really gestural. Obviously, it's really gestural because your arm is working a lot compared to your wrist. But I tried the VR. I tried Medium too, like a couple of years ago. And then, I worked for a week on something that was looking really cool. And then I brought in the brush. It was looking like crap. So I said, man, I spent a week to work on this stuff. I thought it was really good. And then, I got really frustrated, disappointed. And then I threw it in the corner. And then, I met Goro like after 6 months, and they say, no, you have to do it. You have to, Goro is the guru of VR, So he kind of it kind of brought me back to buy another VR. So I bought a used. I still have in the box. I still have in the box in the cabinet, and I didn't even open it. But because no, I don't know. To be honest, between the two, I rather to use ZBrush. ZBrush is more closer. You don't have the feeling of the pressure, the using your hands, but I think it's closer to sculpting traditionally, for my personal experience, and especially because now I can integrate the traditional with the scanning, and then so I have exactly my sculpt in the computer, and I can tweak it there. So that is really, it's a big plus. So it's a really getting closer to a traditional sculpt. Even for the director, they can see that it didn't change a lot from the traditional sculpt. Because even with the VR, you have a, it's nice, but you have a view, and it's funny because I was sculpting with the VR, and then I said, but why I'm using the VR? I can do I can have the real VR, and then I can do the real sculpting. So for me, it was a little bit, it's a mindset, but it's easier to do a really quick sketch in 20 minutes. You do a sketch, you scan it, you're in the computer, you rework it. People that use the VR, it's easier for them to do in VR than in traditional. So it's more like a balance between what you want to achieve. But no, I'm open to all the different levels. Obviously, it would be nice when you get the VR that you can use the gloves and you can sculpt. You have the feeling of clay. Yeah. So at that point, it would be 1-to-1. I think that will be really interesting to try. That would be cool. Yeah, you feel the friction.
You feel pressure, and you know how much to push.
Then maybe you take no, it does the same process that you're using when you do traditional clay. That would be the
that goal. Would be so amazing too if you could put on VR, and if you could kind of feel and push with these gloves, then all of a sudden you could give somebody your statue in VR, and then they could hold it and stuff, and they could feel it. That'd be so cool.
They can do it now too, because you send an OBJ, they import in the set in VR, they see your sculpture.
Well, I'm just saying because in your scenario though, you have these technology kind of gloves to sculpt, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you could put on the gloves, then you could go in the VR, you could hold your sculpture and then go, oh yeah, I could feel it. It feels better because I could hold it, right?
You can be in Bora Bora on the beach, and then you work for. That would be perfect. If I move to Bora Bora.
Well, that's very cool. And also ZBrush, you've used ZBrush, you know how to use ZBrush. That's a good one too.
Yeah, I'm not a guru with ZBrush like Raphael, but I'm surviving with ZBrush. I use ZBrush for my scope, to bring the sculpt to a certain level that I can pass it to the modelers, and then they take over. But I don't want to go too far, because otherwise you do all the work and then they get frustrated. They think, okay, so what are we gonna do? So it's kind of, you have to find a balance that they still have input, because I think that each step of the production they should have input. Each step everybody should put their own input. So the movie is cool. The movie is going to be something unique. I think like we did in Spider-Man. When I work on Spider-Man, I haven't seen anything about the movie. I worked really early, and then I did the sculpt. And then when the movie came out, Shun told me, go see the movie because you see your character moving around. I said, yeah, of course. Everybody said, yeah, you see your character. Then I saw the movie. I was really impressed. That was I think the only movie that I can see 95% of the sculpt that I did on the screen.
That's so cool.
No, I was wow, it's true. I was really blown away. So especially with the goblin.
Your hobgoblin. Oh my God. Or
and when the body, they changed the face at the end. I prefer the old face because it's nicer, but
what can you do? They can't always be perfect.
I told the director, but why did you change? But no. Yeah.
Wow. So let me ask you this though. You said you worked on Spider-Verse earlier on in the production, right? Like you were in there early. So you
I
didn't
was
know you
yeah,
didn't know
two,
how
three
this
years
film was
ago.
going to be,
No, no.
right? And let me put some context for everybody that forgot, because at that time there was a horror, not a horrible Spider-Man. Let me retract that, but there was a live action Spider-Man that a lot of people didn't like. And then another one. And then a Venom that came out, and then there was the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and there was just a lot of Spider-Man going on, and a lot of people that even I've talked to that have worked on the film was like, how is this going to be good? There is too much Spider-Man. This is going to be a bad
Yeah,
movie,
I remember. No, but
right?
the movie went in different direction too. So
Yeah, it was
and
not an
it
easy
was
movie to make.
super realistic and then stylized. And to be honest, when they called me, I'm not really in superhero stuff, so I was like, really, I have to do superhero. But then I said, okay, I'll try. Because even if it's not your ballpark, it can be challenging. It could be interesting to try. To try something different. Like a
Hmm.
superhero. I'm not a superhero guy, so okay, let's try. It could be interesting. And at the end of the day, it was really interesting. For example, Spider-Man was one of the characters that we did. I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 takes, five, 6 different sculpts to get the design. It starts really really graphic, and person is one of the stages that I really prefer, even looking back. And I showed it to Shion. I said, man, the first one was really good. And said, yeah, no, I like that one too. Yeah. But we went I know this. I was trying to tell but then obviously you get in this kind of
I love the
mechanism.
movie.
No. I'm talking about the design.
Right,
Before it
right.
was really elongated because you want to have the feeling of Michael Phelps with the proportion. So short
Oh,
legs, a long torso, long arms. So we
Oh,
did a
that would have
version.
been cool.
oh wow.
It was really cool. I really like it. I really like. Maybe one day I'm gonna post some picture on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, with the process that we did, and but then become more realistic. It's not, it's still super nice. The way how they translate the character, it's really good. They did a really good job. A really good job. Yeah. But because Shun was on top of them, so the designer was checking the translation between the sculpt, the CG, and the process. When the designer is controlling, we are sure that it's going to be on the screen. Is going to be 95% like the sculpt. When
Hey,
it's let go, if the process is going to get let go to other, it's going to get diluted. So personal experience.
very cool. Well, actually, at this point, why don't we check back in with Discord as well and see how these guys are doing with their paintings?
But then become more realistic.
Look at that. That's pretty cool.
It's not, no,
Ah,
it's
there's a lot of really neat things there. Oh, wow. Oh, I see Hari on there. Dang. Doing something completely crazy as usual. It's so awesome.
going to be 95% like the.
Gorgeous.
Cool.
Right? Isn't that neat?
Nice.
That's nice.
Totally. And by the way, everybody, there is approximately half an hour left. Okay, half an hour left for your paintings, and your studies. Some is ZBrush. That's so cool. So
Yeah.
also, I want to just talk about the paintings a little bit because we always do that as well. Like, Masay, what was your idea here? Because you're doing something with a lot of intent, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I tried to take the same lighting, but add more of like an environment and different material, like a slightly different material, especially for the cloak, and like see what I can do with like Andrea's sculpt and like try to make it into like a specific type of concept. So I found a bunch of like references from Game of Thrones where it's like a nice like blue lighting, and then it reflects off the snow, and then how would it like affect on different types of materials. So I was just trying to experiment with that because Andrea's sculpt is so beautiful. Like how what can I do with that, and like try to, you know, come up with something a bit like unique in my own taste.
It's
That
very
looks
cool.
nice, huh?
I think I'm on like a phone call or something. I just left
Yeah.
for a while, I remember. But it was very educational, painting
Hmm.
sculptures. I forgot how educational it could really be, you know, because you get to experience somebody else's simplification of something
Hmm.
that they want to create, right? And, uh, things start to connect with you as you start to paint. I love the way that you use sculptures to really control light and shadow. We talk about light and shadow all the time as painters, but of course, with sculpting, it's you know just as or even more important, right? Like how is the light gonna hit your sculpture, and you got to think about it in like all sorts of different ways though. How's it gonna feel when it's getting lit from underneath or like above? Do you think about these
No,
things?
even when I sculpt, I use lighting. I use like a strong light on one side so I can rotate the character and see the planes, how they interact, the overlapping, how for example, the coat is in relationship with the arms or with the under armor. It's all how the hard surface of the helmet is influencing the shadow on top of the color. So it's all a relationship between shapes, forms, lines, lighting. I'm sure even the 3D model they use lighting when they do the characters. It's the same principle they use traditionally. You use in CG, but the lighting is really useful when you sculpt to see if, especially because we are working on a three-dimensional form, so to make sure that is readable from all different angles. And
When you
Caravaggio.
when you talk about that, it just reminds me of your the Hellboy piece that you did of Mike Mignola's
Yeah, that one
Hellboy.
But
I
I had
use
it
the
queued
light
up right
to
there.
Oh, nice.
I
Yeah,
use the
that was amazing.
I use the lighting to get the same graphiness that Mike did in the drawing, because obviously when you work from, so this one was kind of challenging to bring a flat surface to
Hmm.
a form and to try to give the same feeling that he had in the drawing. This was kind of fun to do it,
I would
challenging for me.
assume I would assume it's difficult, especially with Mike Mignola's style. It's very, very stylized, graphical stuff.
It's really stylized. It was, I think realistic too, but he stylized the realism. So it's the thing that I was saying before. He had this kind of absorbing all this information, and they create their own stylistic style that is really unique. And I was trying to do the same with the absorbing what he was learning, what he was doing on the 2D, and try to bring it back on a three-dimensional form. And was challenging, but was fun to do it too. That you try to find your boundary, try to find your way you want to spread something. It was fun. But even with Nico, it's all about shapes. Carter too. It's all about the shapes. They build the shapes and then they go too tight and they put more. They fill everything.
And speaking of fun, difficult, challenging, there is the Hello or Holly Jolly Paintathon this Friday, where we're all gonna gather 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. We will form groups on the LBX Discord channel, about like 5-10 people to a group, and the whole entire challenge is that we're gonna paint for 24 hours. You don't have to paint for 24 hours, but your team will be painting for 24 hours, so you can kind of like tag in when you wake up, and then the other person could take their rest, and so on and so forth. Painting with Magma, you get to paint with people, live, interactive, just like how Masei and I have been painting all of these days. And this is happening Friday, December 18th to Saturday, December 19th. and we will be picking a winner. But it's not just going to be Masei and I. It's also going to be my partner in Lightbox Expo, Jim Demonakos, and Carla Ortiz is going to be joining us again on the Saturday to give the final results for this challenge. That's going to be really, really fun. You like how I get those commercials in, Andrea?
You're pretty good.
Nice segues.
Commercial. No, you're good. You're good. You know, yeah.
Andrea, I got some more questions for you, though.
Yeah,
Want to
bring some questions.
make sure we maximize your time with us. This one is from Anonymous.
Come on, Anonymous. It's the name.
I know. Come on, Anonymous.
It's the name, you know. Anonymous.
What is the weirdest or rarest or most unusual sculpting material you ever used?
Oh, okay. So I like to use the Chiufan CM50. And once I did the sculpt for, was a big sculpture. Unfortunately, they kind of screwed up the mixing in the mix. So it was really, really oily and really super soft. It was super difficult to work, especially because I was under deadline. So that maybe was the most difficult things to work on, with something that you think that you know how to manage, but then it's completely different. So you have to try to get back to what you can achieve with that material, with the material that looks like crap, that and it's not good. So you spend more time to try to get something that will be easier with the right consistency. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, I think this person was like hoping for, one time I was making some bread and I just lost myself, started building some tower.
I thought with sand that was kind of difficult to do.
Oh, you did sand sculptures?
I did sand sculpture long time ago when I was young, but it was almost like a clay sand that you could find on one of the beach in Italy. So I did some stuff like this. It was kind of cool to try. And I never try snow. No, the ice. Ice would be nice to kind of carve it.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be, I'm sure, challenging.
But you've never been in snow long enough to sculpt something.
Yeah, I did the snowman, yeah, but...
Oh, okay.
No, I use paper mache. Paper mache is nice to use it, to do a sculpt with that one, with paper. What else?
Cool. Well, this one is not from Anonymous. This one is from Neva Duncan. And Neva says, hey, Andrea, what is your most memorable project you worked on? And by the way, everybody, if you have any other questions, go to where it says questions. You go to slido.com, #ChooseStream, and you can ask your questions too. So most memorable project.
Memorable project? Oh. I don't, to be honest, maybe as a surprise was Spider-Man. Because I was working remotely. And, I was going to the studio, showing the stuff, work from here, send the stuff, back and forth. And then I haven't heard anything for 3 years. And then the big surprise was that. And then I kind of wish, it's funny because when I saw the movie, I said, I wish I was there during the process. That would be incredible. Yeah. If I heard it was a nightmare, because, we always see the end product, but we don't know how was all the procedure. No. I have another project. When I worked with Henry Selick on a stop motion almost 10 years ago, it was in San Francisco. That was really was my first experience with stop motion. Yeah. So I could see my sculpt translating in a real three-dimensional form with the puppetry. It was really magical. The atmosphere was maybe that was one of the tougher projects I ever worked, because was they were challenging time. Mm-hmm. Henry is really particular to work with, and I was working with Lou Romano, I was working with Tony Fucile, was working on the project, Heidi Schmidt. So there was a lot of people from Nightmare Before Christmas, Pixar. So it was a really good mix. Really a lot of idols, a lot of my idols. I was working with them, and that was challenging, but was really interesting, the project. And I was able to work 2.5 years on full time. So that was really incredible. And I think the project that I did the most sculpt ever. I did more than 80 characters, and a lot of different takes,
Oh
a lot of
man.
now was unfortunately we will never see the movie because they shut down the studio. But the quality was really high. The bar was really high. Really good design.
That's what
Eureka
I
was
was
Eureka.
thinking. Like that is the magical kind of perfect project for you. A stop motion
Yeah,
project where you
stop
can
motion.
see your sculptures come to life.
Yeah.
Like really.
It was still a translation because we were doing a scope. Demo was working there too. Grits was working there. A lot of really good artists. Work in the company, and the lab. Helen was working there. Helen Chen. The Ryan
Oh
wife.
wow, back then. Oh
She was
wow.
working there. Tom Cruise.
Holy.
No, Lure Man. The quality was really good. The level, man. Unfortunately, nobody was.
Yeah.
No, that was the project, and then Spider-Man. But Spider-Man was the biggest surprise because I didn't expect
So
something
then
like this.
if the company closed, then can you show the art now?
Yeah. I show some sculpture.
Oh, you have shown sculptures
I show
online.
some sculpture online. Yeah, I show you one. I get one. So
Okay,
let me get the sculpture. Let me get the sculpture. Get
I
more questions.
no problem. I will let me adjust the screen here so that we can see it a little bit easier. Let's do oops. How do I spotlight?
So this one was the first sculpt that I did. Let me get that. Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
So this was
it's big.
so yes, because basically they did it same size of the puppet.
Oh, right.
So this was one of the first
Oh,
sculpt.
that's
And
really cool.
the Lu Romano, it's like 16 inch. That's really. So we're talking about shapes, about roughness. This was the first sculpt that was ever sculpted. I started from Jerome Ramp. He started the sculpt, and then he kind of Henry, asked me to finish to bring to a final stage. I worked more on the face. He did the first blocking, and then we developed even more with Tony Fucilli did some draw over, and then after we edit, we did a 3D scan and we printed in.
That's
Exactly
awesome.
the same.
Cute.
That is so
Wow,
great.
that's
One eighth
really
of
cool.
1/8 of because
Wow.
Wow.
sometimes when we do stop motion, we use Jesus, my hair. I should have cut my hair. We use different scale of the characters. So when they build the sets, they can use the little scale based on the bigger scale. So it's only in relationship.
Hey, Andrea,
So
do you have any of the Spider-Verse sculptures around?
let me get this was another one that I did.
Oh shoot,
Cool.
that's
Wow.
hilarious.
Was a boxer. Heidi Schmidt did the design.
Oh, that's
But in
so
real
awesome.
life, you need to make sure that everything works.
Yeah. I love how the
And this,
neck attaches like on the back of the head instead of
yeah,
like
really. But let me get some. You see a lot of crap on the back. Sorry, I apologize for the background.
love it.
Oh, that's so
I
cool.
love being able to see all of it. The little tiny things, over
Mm-hmm.
here on the shelf. That's so cool. I
Yeah,
remember seeing
just
this. This was part of his personal project, stop motion personal project, I think.
Yeah, these are the Spider-Man.
oh
Yeah.
wow. That's
So
really cool.
cool.
I love how all your sculpture, no matter like which direction you turn it, the lighting and the shadow is just so well like designed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean did the drawing for her. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I really like you see the face is different from the final one. I'll show you. I hope you can see.
Maybe if you turn it the other way. Oh yeah.
Because the lighting is a little bit.
Oh,
yeah, maybe.
boom.
Oh, there you go.
That's so cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's more
Yeah,
realistic, this one. It has a more realistic feel.
It's a bit more realistic, yeah.
Very
But the body is the one that you see in the movie. You see, they really kept the feeling, the proportion, and everything. You know?
Yeah, she was an awesome character.
Mm-hmm.
Even obviously, it's you know, going back to the question that somebody asked, can I use your approach to do a realistic or like a creature? No, we use like a traditional approach, but more stylized here. So we went more stylized, just to give the same feeling of the of the direction.
That
But,
is so cool. Let me try to get your face back on my Zoom. I will master Zoom one day. Today is not my day. Oh jeez. All right. Well, as I try to figure that out, do you want to talk about how your sculpture is going now, or your painting is going now, Massey? You're almost done.
Yeah. I actually had a lot of fun with this. It's the main reason why I chose this reference was just because like the lighting and like how the whole cave just like receives everything, but then everything under like falls under shadow, but you can still see like all the nice details. So yeah, this piece was like really fun.
Yeah, this one was very relaxing for me, and I feel like I just relaxed too much because I was like, it's a clay, it's a statue. I've been painting environments and all these super complex things. I'll take it easy. And I shouldn't have. But in the end, it still turned out pretty good just because of how like how well designed the sculpture was already, and knowing that Andrea puts a nice lighting on it so that he's always judging the light as he's sculpting makes perfect sense now. That was kind of like my light bulb moment in this stream today.
Yeah.
It looks nice, huh? You got pretty good.
Thanks. 90 minutes, well, actually, Massey's, I'm sure you're talking about Massey's.
All of you.
I was relaxing. I was drinking my cappuccino, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I don't have my cappuccino. No, but even the guy online, I'm really impressed. Really impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice stuff. Nice stuff.
Thanks.
Andre, when you do your personal sculptures, do you normally do like I'm guessing you have a sketch that you make, but do you ever do like the 360 view just so that you can understand, or I guess in your mind you already know like what exactly you want to put down?
If I do my personal sculpt, huh?
Yeah.
But usually I do some sketches, and then usually depending if I do a certain character that I want to obviously reassemble in the sculpture, I kind of research the character, I do some drawing, and then try to push it more in the stylization that I wanna do with the sculpt, and then I start the clay. Mm-hmm. Or like these live demos that I'm doing usually, I just start with something, and then the flow goes. But when I do like a quick demo, like 45 minutes, I'm doing.
Have you ever done a self portrait, like a bust of yourself?
I did it, yeah. I did it even from somebody else did the drawing, and I did my little bust.
Oh,
cool.
It came out pretty good. I did it like maybe 6 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I remember what I was doing at this point. At this point, I was like, okay, I got everything kind of down. I just started to um, try to work some shininess into some of the material and start to change some of the material into more metallic like materials. 90-minute art challenge, it's just a guideline. Stick to the 90 minutes if you can and paint it if you like, or change it and do your own version, things like that. There's really no rules here. So let's go to another question here. This question is, I'm just trying to decide which one to actually go to here. CJ Rusotto is always in the questions. Why don't we go to one of his questions? And he says, this one isn't even really a... Okay, I guess it's a question. Bobby, can you give Andrea my thanks for this Samurai Vader sculpture? I don't own it, but just knowing it exists makes my life a little better. Is that funny? That's great.
It's too nice. It's too nice. No, thank you.
All right, this one is another CJ Rusotto question. Would you guys be open to take reference suggestions from us, the fans, the Discordians, the followers, and the TrueStream fans? Those are all one thing. He's just making a million names for them. Yeah, we're open to it. Generally, what we select are copyright-free images or images from friends. So if you like, we get most of our images from unsplash.com. Okay, unsplash.com is actually a really great resource that everybody maybe they want to bookmark, because you can use those photos in there for commercial use as well, and it's copyright free.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go to another question here. So, yeah, it's funny, those names that CJ Rusotto,
Yeah.
Discordians, and I remember people were saying, like, when we used to do sketching together and stuff, like, or actually before Massey was with us, we had this other website called Sketchaholic, and we would sketch together all the time, and then they gave themselves a name too. I remember. It's so funny, all these.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we're gonna have to come up with a name.
And now you're doing Fire Massey.
Yeah.
If you didn't prove yourself enough, now you're doing Fire and changing the whole thing.
Yeah, adding another light source to an already like basing it off a reference and then trying to apply it to a different reference was, I tried to challenge myself. I don't know if I was super successful, but it was interesting just to try to experiment, like, what can I do to just to kind of see if I fully understand what it was that I was painting.
Was it tough?
Kind of. Just adding different colors, especially in like the blue environment, and then because I added color to Andrea's sculpt, like I tried to go for like a red fabric, and then more of like a gray metal or armor. It was interesting trying to add color to it. So hopefully next time I can do a bit better.
I saw you doing that and I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. It's too much.
Andrea, do you ever paint your sculpts, or do you ever like add color to them?
Yeah. Those are. Yeah, I can show you.
Oh, like in the back there.
Background, yeah. Yeah, sometimes I paint it,
Cool.
Depend, Yeah, this one was painted.
That's awesome.
Yeah, acrylics.
And this was with the other you put a cast on top, and then you.
No, this one I start with the gray, like the Spider-Man on the back. Then I do a primer, and then I use acrylics. This was because it's related to a stop motion, so I wanted to see the color, and then when you take picture, you have exactly the same feeling, even with this lighting, how the character is going to look like.
It's so
Oh
good.
yeah.
It's so funny. Jeez.
You know, and it's not easy to find the right color. You know, especially because if you see especially with the red, because now it's from live it looks like orangey, but then when you see with the normal light through the camera, it looks more like a real cardinal, a real red. You know.
Mm.
That's awesome.
So when you paint the sculpture, you have to find the right color, and then even the face is almost like you can start to see the translucency. So you have to work
Yeah,
like a watercolor. Then you have to
that's
emphasize
so
for
cool.
the eye bag. They have to be stronger because otherwise they don't get they are not readable. You see, even with this light now, everything start to come together. So you have to take in consideration these things when you paint the character.
Oh.
When you paint a maquette,
Yeah, it's
But
so
I'm sure.
interesting because, like, you're not painting. Do you ever paint in shadows?
No.
Right? You don't, because, like,
No.
I've seen, certain Leica movies and things like that where they'll stylize shadows. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but then the turn it will be always there. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like a makeup.
Yeah, like, well, I would see it in, like, hair sometimes. They'll stylize, like, they'll paint a strip of hair darker, indicating,
Yeah,
like,
you give more the intentation. Yeah,
yeah.
you can do that on your. But usually it's more because if you're close to the real, because we don't have shadow. We are normal color, and then with the light create the shadow. So you recreate the same realism, of the environment. So it's going to be even more, I think. And it's a stylistic choice. The production designer can decide to reinforce more some shadow, some planes. But I think that if you do that one, when you turn around, you're going to see that it's like a, you can see that's painted.
I remember there's this guy, Herman Mejia. He did these incredible sculptures. Let me try to find them. Where he would paint in some of the shadows as well. And it's so much. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's more theatrical, when you paint the shadow. Yeah.
Do you know of this guy? He's so much fun.
I can see myself. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can't see the. Oh,
Yeah, I can't see.
I don't see. I
sorry.
see my.
Let me share. I thought I was sharing
Make
my
me
screen.
smaller. Make it smaller.
Hold on 1 second
I
here.
see too much crap
Oh,
around.
okay. I will share my screen. Um, there we go. Now you see it. Herman
Cool.
Mejia.
Yeah.
But you can see,
Yeah.
like, he starts painting in these shadows.
Yeah.
Um, I
That's
think
nice.
this one was like,
Yeah. This is really cool. Yeah.
It does
so
start end up.
funny.
It kind of starts looking more like a painting, which is kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Well, he does mostly characters, as
Oh, they're
far as
nice.
I know.
Really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, that's how I've known of his stuff, is through his characters like this.
Yeah, but you can reinforce. Some crevices, some wrinkles, some the hair. You can push. But for example, this one is because it chooses only one view. Maybe.
Ah, I see.
Maybe. I don't know. Because if you start to see the turnaround, you're gonna start to notice that it's more painted than the real shadow.
What I've known him for is watercolor, so I believe that's what he usually does, and the sculpting is not what he usually does.
Okay. Maybe it's really well done. It's really.
And
It's really.
I just want to say we're all done. We're all
Okay.
done the painting. We're done the 90 minutes, and everybody has completed their challenge. So here we go. Last thoughts, Masei, on what the piece, how you might have treated it differently if you had to do it again.
I had a lot of fun, that's for sure. This kind of made me more interested in Andrea's class, just because like thinking about painting and drawing and like as like a sculpting kind of mindset, I feel like it'll help with just like structure and designing, and even talking today about like shadows and stuff. Like I'd like to apply that more to my paintings in the future. Yeah.
I also want to take Andrea's class, but really because I want to make something without electricity, and then I have it. I have it. It's not in some computer screen. It's right there, and I made it with these two hands. That's what I want to do.
Come on, guys. You have to sign up.
Absolutely. And by the way, for everybody that might have missed it, we have an amazing winter sale right now on Schoolism. You get access to all the courses, including Andrea's course. And this is how you would sign up, okay? So you would go to schoolism.com. You can just click on the banner here, or you can go to any of these classes and go to subscribe now. Look for this, look for the sale, and then you can click on checkout. Once you check out, you didn't just get Andrea's class, you got access to all the classes, or you can just click on the banner here. And speaking of reminders, there's always so much to remember with these streams, but the most important thing is to subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. And I'm losing my voice, so this is a good sign that we are done. Thank you so much to everybody that joined us, everybody in Discord, all of the moderators in YouTube, Facebook, and Discord. Thank you so much. And the number one thank you goes to the amazing, the incredible, what am I doing there? Andrea Blasich, our awesome
to the people that they were listening for 90 minutes. Thank you, guys. Hope we weren't boring, but yeah.
What do you mean? Are you saying my stream is boring?
I don't know. Maybe for some people it's boring. No, it was fun. Yeah, I need a coffee now. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I had a joy hanging out with you, Andrea.
So, it was very good. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
It was nice to see you guys too, and thank you for the question too. Thank you.